What's up, y'all? My name's Dan. So, Copa Airlines is the largest airline and flag carrier of the country of Panama. It's a pretty large airline flying to a total of 84 destinations with a fleet of 82 aircraft as of 2022, which is quite impressive given that Panama's population is only 4 million, compared to other airlines like Aeromexico, Avianca, or LATAM, which are based in much larger countries or even several countries. What exactly makes the airline so successful? Well, Copa Airlines' main hub is the Panama City's Tucumán Airport, which is also known as the Hub of the Americas. Given its location in the middle of the Americas, it facilitates flight connections between North and South America. From Panama, Copa flies to a total of 82 destinations to every country in North and South America, with a few exceptions in the Caribbean. Copa has only one domestic route between Panama and David, making the network heavily dependent on international demand. Panama is a small country, but it does have a bit of local demand with a 4 million population, and business demand largely has to do with the Panama Canal. But these aren't the majority of passengers flying the airline. A huge majority of Copa's passengers are connecting passengers, around 78% to be exact, thanks to Copa's heavy use of the hub and spoke model, which has been successful thanks to several factors, such as Panama's location being smack in the middle of the two continents, as well as passengers not having to go through Panamanian customs if they have a connecting flight. This was also helpful during the pandemic when Panama imposed restrictions on many countries, but oftentimes these restrictions did not apply to connecting passengers. Copa offers convenient schedules with 6 different departure and arrival periods, so that layovers aren't long, and to increase aircraft utilization in order to reduce costs. Oftentimes, connecting through Panama can be cheaper than a direct flight with other airlines, while some passengers do not mind a stopover in the middle of the flight in case a direct flight is too long. The Panama Stopover program also helps the airline. Connecting passengers can stay in the country for at least a day up to a week to get to know the country before continuing to their final destination without any added cost to their flights. And it also helps to boost tourism into the country. Another factor that contributes to Copa's success is our flights to smaller cities that don't tend to have many connections, or that might be very well connected with their domestic airlines but don't have enough international connections. Some of these include airports such as Salta, Cordova, Asunción, and Porto Alegre that don't have any connections to North America, or airports like Barbados, Nassau, Tampa, or Denver that don't have any direct connections to South America. Copa allows these cities to have one-stop flights without having to make multiple stops, while avoiding connections at the busiest airports that are most prone to delays and congestion. Several countries, such as Bahamas, Barbados, Guyana, and Belize, don't have many, if any, direct flights to other destinations in Latin America. Copa Airlines helps connect these countries to more places with one stop in Canada without having to go all the way to the US before flying south again. Copa's main route is that between Panama and Cancun with 8 daily flights. This is followed by San Jose de Costa Rica with 7 flights, followed by Panama City to Lima, Miami, Punta Cana, and Bogota with 6 daily flights each. Copa flies to 8 destinations in Central America outside of Panama. Many of these cities don't have many connections to some very important markets in the US and South America, this being the reason why San Jose is one of Copa's most important routes. They also fly to 5 destinations in Mexico. Flight connections are possible in Panama for flights to the Caribbean and South American cities, mainly those without direct flights to these Mexican cities. So while Cancun, Copa's most important destination, has flights to South America, the demand is just too great, so Copa covers a lot of the unmet demand for this airport. In North America, Copa Airlines has 13 destinations in the continental US and 2 in Canada, with the US being one of the most important markets for Copa, especially in destinations with a large Latin American population like Los Angeles, New York, and Florida, and destinations that are United's hubs, such as Washington Dulles, Chicago, San Francisco, and Denver, while United Airlines flies to Panama from Houston and New York that connect with Copa's network. Copa also flies to other U.S. cities like Tampa, Boston, and New Orleans. And they recently began flights to Atlanta. Meanwhile, in Canada, Copa flies to Toronto and Montreal. In Panama, passengers from North America can easily connect to destinations in South America, the Caribbean, and Central America. Copa also flies to 10 countries in the Caribbean, if you include French and Dutch territories. While these destinations often have enough US and European connections, many of these have limited connections to South America. So Copa can fly any passenger that wants to fly basically anywhere in South America by connecting them via Panama. In South America, the airline has 38 destinations. Colombia is Copa's most important market with 11 destinations, including those recently launched to Armenia, Cucuta, and Santa Marta. Copa obviously flies to the other larger countries in South America, to Brazil with 8 destinations, Argentina with 5 destinations, as well as Peru, Ecuador, and Chile. Even the countries with limited international flights get Copa flights to meet that demand, such as Uruguay, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Suriname. From these places, passengers can conveniently fly into Panama and continue into North America or even the northern parts of South America. And while there is one special case in the continent, that is Venezuela, which thanks to the dictatorship and security concerns, only a few limited airlines fly into the country. There are no flights to the US, Brazil, or Canada, while there are very limited flights to Central America, Mexico, Argentina, and Colombia. So Copa Airlines, one of the few airlines that flies into the country, provides Venezuelans a way to fly internationally to many destinations in the Americas, with three destinations in Venezuela, including Caracas, Valencia, and Maracaibo, as well as Barcelona, which is set to start soon. All of these destinations are possible thanks to Copa Airlines' fleet, which consists of entirely of Boeing 737 aircraft, including 60 of the Boeing 737-800s that are the backbone of Copa's operations. They also have 14 of the Boeing 737 MAX that are used over the busiest routes, such as Sao Paulo, Los Angeles, Cancun, and Guayaquil. And finally, they also have 6 of the Boeing 737-700s that Copa wants to retire soon to simplify and renew their fleet and reduce costs, making their operations much more efficient. It's something they've been doing in recent years with the retirement of the Embraer E190s in 2020 when the pandemic happened, when they reduced their fleet of 102 aircraft down to around 75, which has since then increased again to 82 with the Boeing 737 MAX 9. The airline also has orders for another 55 Boeing 737 MAX, with 40 of them between the MAX 8 and the MAX 9, and another 15 of the MAX 10. One of the airline's 737-800s has been converted to freighter in order to help with cargo operations to several destinations in the region. The airline also expects another 737-800 freighter to arrive soon. With these aircraft, Copa can reach most of the two continents, all the way south to Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, and as far north as Quebec, Colorado, and California, covering most large cities in the Americas. This includes 5 of the 10 longest flights operated by the Boeing 737, such as Panama to Montevideo, Buenos Aires, San Francisco, Rio de Janeiro, and Porto Alegre, almost stretching to the range limits of the aircraft. The airline also expands its reach via their codeshare and interline agreements. The main one is the codeshare agreement with United Airlines, which dates back all the way to the 90s, when Copa and Continental Airlines began partnering before Continental bought a stake in the airline in 1998, changing their image and expanding the airline's reach in the US, while Continental could reach any destination further in South America via Panama. The airlines remained close to the point that when Continental joined SkyTeam, Copa joined as well. When Continental left SkyTeam for Star Alliance, Copa followed suit, and even after the merger with United, the airlines still keep close ties. United offers connections via their main hubs in Houston, New York, Washington, Chicago, Denver, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Copa also has codeshare agreements with airlines all over to expand their reach beyond their destinations. This includes airlines that are part of Star Alliance like Avianca, Turkish Airlines, EVA Air, and Lufthansa, as well as some Northern Star Alliance airlines such as GOL, Aeromar, Iberia, Air France, and KLM. Besides the codeshare agreements, Copa also has interline agreements with multiple airlines in the Star Alliance, as well as airlines that aren't part of the alliance. These all expand Copa's network in many of their markets like Mexico, Canada, Europe, and beyond. Copa Airlines also increased the market share in Colombia with the local subsidiary Wingo, which operates with former Copa Airlines Boeing 737-800s. The airline operates domestic and international flights out of Colombia, directly competing with Avianca and Viva Air. Copa hasn't fully recovered from the pandemic yet. Some flights are still suspended, such as Barbados, Liberia, Puerto Vallarta, and New Orleans, among others, while others still have fewer frequencies than before. Copa's pre-pandemic capacity is still around 80%, but they're slowly climbing as international demand begins to pick up, and more countries begin lifting restrictions in North and South America. They posted a profit in the second quarter of 2021, being one of the airlines that are doing best in their post-pandemic recovery, likely because of their focus on connecting passengers, and because they didn't have to go into bankruptcy like other airlines in the area, such as Aeromexico, Avianca, and LATAM. Copa will probably keep expanding their operations in the continent, and despite the emergence of low-cost carriers that might challenge Copa Airlines by adding more direct flights between North, Central, and South America, Copa will probably keep doing fine since there will always be the need for connecting flights, especially with those smaller destinations that have far fewer connections, and for those travelers who would rather make a stop in its flight, or those who would rather have more flexibility in their schedule with more flight frequencies. And I'm pretty sure that Copa will keep expanding, adding more frequencies to the current destinations, as well as adding more destinations in the area, as the airline takes delivery on more planes. There are small Caribbean cities that still don't have connections, and the same is the case with some smaller South American cities that might have some international demand but lack the connections. And the same could apply to destinations in North America. In Mexico, the US, and Canada might have some sort of demand into South America. And while these can often connect via Miami, Houston, or Mexico City, this could help passengers avoid such congested airports. So I'm pretty sure that Copa will keep doing fine in their future as they recover from the pandemic. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If y'all got any comments, questions, or any feedback, y'all can leave a comment. That's all I've got to say, and I'll see you later.